Hey guys, I was listening to a podcast earlier and it was on this topic of promises, and I thought it was interesting because usually when we think of promises, we think of pact between two people, but sometimes we have to take a step back and realize that it's the promises that we keep to ourselves that can be the most important. So I wanted to take a few minutes in this video to kind of lay out why it's the promises that we make to ourselves that kind of create this foundation of success and this personal growth. And there's three ideas that resonated with me about keeping promises to yourself. So the first one is trust equals confidence. Trust is strongly backed by the belief that you're reliable. It's in the truth, that you have the ability to follow through. And each time we make a promise to ourselves, we show ourselves that we are trustworthy, we can uphold our word, and we can confidently rely on ourselves to follow through in our commitments. Once we recognize this and reinforce it, our following through helps us keep making promises and keeping them and increasing our self-esteem. So it's a cycle that builds and gradually moves up as you get better at it. So the second thing is going to be just being cautious about prioritizing external expectations over your own internal expectations. So a lot of times it's easy to feel pressure to meet the external demands of the world, even at the expense of a commitment that we made to ourselves. So certainly there's a lot of times where we got to be flexible, but the most important thing is that we can make decisions around realistic boundaries, keeping our own needs in mind and maintaining a balance so that we don't get burnt out, because it's really easy to do if we don't stay mindful. Prioritizing our commitments to ourselves not only helps us with self-reliance, but also helps us feel recharged so that every day we have the energy we need to build off of. And that's again, so we're setting proper boundaries with others. So the third thing is, have you ever thought about looking at the promises to yourself from a friend's perspective? Just pretend you were your own friend. Would you be satisfied or disappointed in the reliability that you were making with yourself? So this perspective can actually help us recognize the importance of keeping promises to ourselves by seeing ourselves through our friends' eyes. When we repeatedly are breaking contracts with ourselves, we end up internalizing feelings, getting disappointed, having frustration, and then we stop trusting ourselves, and then thus we damage our self-esteem. And that is the foundation of this whole idea of keeping a promise with yourself and building success. I can tell you over 4 years of being sober, one of the main things that I can tell you is that I believe myself. My promises that I make myself reinforce my self-esteem, and there's not a day that goes by that I do not think I can go anywhere and do anything in this world without a desire to have a drink, and that is monumental. So I think that keeping promises to ourselves, whether it's alcohol, ice cream, which is now the thing that I'm working on, whatever it may be, losing weight, eating a diet a certain way, smoking cigarettes, whatever it is, just work on that one promise, and that's keeping it to yourself and start really small. Don't try to, bite off the world.